Hello, my name is Luis Manico Piwakino and we talk about the Filipino grievances against Governor Wood Commission on Independence. When we talk about grievances means complaint or problems people strongly disagree with, usually against someone in power or authority. Now, who is Governor Leonard Wood? Leonard Wood was a U.S. Army Major General who served as the Governor General of the Philippines from 1921 to 1927. He was known for his strong administrative skills and leadership, and during his term, he introduced several reforms. He helped modernize the educational system, improve the judicial and police system, and work on public health sanitation projects. Early service. Leonard Wood arrived in the Philippines in 1903 during the Philippine-American War, and he was served as a governor of Moro Province in 1903 and 1906, and later commanded the Philippine Division in 1906 to 1908. During his administration, Leonard Wood encountered the resistance of Sulu province that led to the first Battle of Badadju in March 1906. As you can see in the picture, resulted with the hundreds of deaths including women and children, and this event is drew a heavy criticism and public backlash. During the Battle of Badadju, there were different reports about what really happened. According to Major Hugh Scott, who was the district governor of Sulu, many of the people who went up to the crater didn't actually plan to fight. They were just seeking refuge or protection. That's why some historians say it shouldn't even be called a battle, because the US troops had much stronger weapons and many of these kills were women and children. Now, Governor Leonard Wood gave his own explanation. He said that Moro men use women and children as human shield, and that some women even disguise themselves as men to join the fight. He took responsibility for the attack, but he also said that the deaths were unintentional, meaning they didn't even to kill so many civilians. After the Battle of Daju, there were mixed reactions about what happened. The Governor General at that time, Henry Clay Hyde, defended Governor Wood. He said that the deaths were accidental, caused mainly by artillery fire, and there was no massacre intended, meaning it wasn't a planning of killing civilians. However, critics didn't agree. They accused Governor Woods of trying to gain personal glory and recognition. They also criticized him for ordering the Marines to attack directly, instead of surrounding the area and letting the people surrender, which could have avoided so many deaths. Because of all the backlash of controversy, Governor Wood eventually resigned as governor of Moro Province in April 1906. Filipino grievances against Governor Wood. Governor Leonard Wood was a Governor General of the Philippines from 1921 to 1927, but his term was controversial. During that time, Filipinos raised several grievances against Wood, and those grievances were a culmination of dissatisfaction with his administration. There are at least 22 grievances against Governor Wood. Number 1 is he refused to approve beneficial laws. Wood vetoes many laws passed by the Filipino legislature even if they were beneficial to the public. This made it seem like he was blocking Filipino efforts towards self-control. Number 2 is ignored legal authority of Filipino officials, not but the legal authority and responsibility for the Philippine heads of department. Number 3 is replace civilian advisors with military officers. Wood prepared to consult American military officers instead of Filipino government advisors. This undermines civilian governance and Filipino participation. 4 is reverse the policy of Filipinization. He reversed the policy of Filipinizing the service of the government by appointing Americans even when Filipinos were qualified. 5 is obstructed economic policies. He obstructed national economic policies adopted by legislator. 6 is violated the power of legislator. He revived items in the law of preceding year after vetoing the new law. 7 is made. He made appointments and paid salaries after vetoing the appropriation for them. 8 is misuse public funds. He used certain public funds to grant additional compensation to officials. 9 is usurped legislative power. He exercised power granted by law to the emergency board after abolishing it. 10 is interfered in the administration of justice. He intervened in court and legal matters that were supposed to be independent, compromising the justice system. 11 to 13 is ignored the Senate rule and appointments. He refused to consult the Senate in appointments and keep officials the Senate had rejected. 14. Imposed conditions on legislative measures. He added his own conditions to laws passed by the legislature, a clear act of overstating his authority. 15 to 16. Caused division and tension. He caused discord between Christians and Muslims, Filipinos, and strained relations between Americans and Filipinos. 17. Sold government-owned companies to Americans. Under the excuse of reducing government business, he sold profitable Filipino companies to wealthy Americans, benefiting foreign interests. 18. Spread anti-Filipino propaganda. He allowed misleading propaganda in the US that portrayed Filipinos as unfit for self-government, weakening independent effort. 19. Attempted to close the Philippine National Bank. He tried to shut down the PNB, which was essential for Filipino economic growth, a move seen as harmful to national development. 20 is micromanage Filipino affairs. Wood involved himself in every government decision, even small ones, violating the spirit of Filipino self-governance promised by the US. 21 is tried to amend land laws. He pushed for changes in land laws that would allow Americans to exploit Philippines' land and natural resources. 22 is issued executive orders without authority. Wood created Executive Order number 37 redefining government control over corporation. The 1923 cabinet crisis was sparked by Jose P. Rowler's suspension of an American, Ray Conley, for bribery scandal. And the other hand, Wood reinstated Conley, ignoring Laurel's authority. And the result is Laurel resigned, followed by Manuel L. Quezon, Senate President, Manuel A. Rojas, Speaker of House Representatives, Jose Abad Santos, Secretary of Justice, Ernesto Laguda, Secretary of Commerce and Communications, Alberto Barreto, Secretary of Finance, and Rafael Corpus, Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources, and marked as a collective protest against U.S. control. A petition on July 26, 1923, Filipino leaders sent petition to the United States Congress to protest against Governor Leonard Wood's actions. They request an investigation into what they saw as his abuse of power and interference in local affairs. In the petition, they accused Wood of undermining Philippine autonomy and democracy, accusing that his actions went against the promise of self-government given to the Filipino people. This move showed the Filipino growing determination to defend their rights and push for greater independence from American control. In my summary, Governor Leonard Wood's administration clearly showed American dominance in Philippine politics. Many Filipinos felt that their authority and freedom were being limited under his rule. In response, Filipino leaders stood their ground through the cabinet crisis of July 17, 1923, and by submitting petitions demanding respect for Filipino rights and self-control. This action and grievances fueled a stronger sense of nationalism, inspiring Filipinos to unite and strengthen their resolve of independence.